Where he is from there, from a year ago to where he is today, it's amazing.
Yeah, he has come on leaps and bounds, definitely in his mentality, Daniel Dubois, that's clear to see. Does it still, I know at the time it was really frustrating you, does it still get to you a little bit, what happened that night?
No, look, it's gone. But I think it's the making of him. That's up to you to be your own referee. Because something don't go your way, you grit your teeth and you get on with it. And that's what he's done in his last couple of fights. He gritted his teeth and shown what he's all about. I think Daniel gave Usyk more of a problem than AJ did. He hurt him, certainly hurt him more than he did. I want AJ to be throwing those right hands, because when he does throw them, he's there to be countered, and that's when he'll get in trouble.
The boxing pros have made their selections for the September 21 battle between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. The showdown between these two titans of the heavyweight division could change the course of the division. In a high-profile fight, Anthony Joshua will take on Daniel Dubois, the current IBF heavyweight champion. Dubois in an out-of-state match, roughly. Joshua would have the opportunity to win a third world championship title if he prevailed, and it would also open the door for a possible rematch with the elusive All-Under UK, adding a new chapter to their ongoing rivalry.
I think he's the young guy. I think he's matured, and over the last few years he's had some great experience, and it's all gelling for him. He's had two really good performances in his last two fights.
Within the boxing community, a fighter's legacy is everything. It goes beyond their accomplishments and awards to include their ability to enthrall spectators each time they enter the hallowed ring. What is it that fans remember most? It's the spirit of their fights and the lasting impression they made on the heavyweight class with each punch and move. Every blow is thrown with a cruel intention. One punch one combatant is seen. He fights fiercely while the crowd frequently gets cleared of dust. Frequently, the arena erupts in celebration as one fighter stands tall and triumphant, his arms raised in victory. Meanwhile, in the opposite corner, the defeated challenger faces the daunting prospect of having to climb back up the mountain, motivated by the dream of glory, fame, and the coveted title of being the greatest of all time. On June 26th, Daniel Dubois will take on Anthony Joshua, the newly crowned world champion, who is expected to be his most challenging opponent to date. Now is Dubois' chance to defend his championship and correct what he feels was unfair in his fight against Alexander Usyk. This matchup may provide him a chance for atonement in addition to supporting his championship claim.
Get the wins, get the wins, get the wins.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Free time doesn't inspire you?
Oh yeah, silently it does. I've got the belts plastered around my room. Not the ones that I fought for, but small little token ones, just to keep my mind in tune with what the goal is, but just him. I don't focus on the belt, just him.
It's a chance for Joshua to restore his title as world champion and challenge Usyk to become the undisputed champion. It's an opportunity for Dubois to prove his abilities and solidify his status as one of the top. Fans may look forward to an exciting fight that will keep everyone enthralled. With his unwavering pursuit of knockout victories, Joshua has defeated multiple opponents, making him a feared fighter. On the other hand, Dubois takes a more calculated stance and uses a jab that is reminiscent of Sonny Liston's style. At this point in their careers, both combatants are in important positions. Does this conflict therefore have a significant impact on the divide? A great deal. This time around, Anthony Joshua enters the ring as the underdog after losing to Usyk on August 20, 2022. He has defeated Jermaine Franklin 4 times in a row since coming back stronger. Franklin, Robert Hylenius, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou, who is 34 years old, have all criticized Joshua for his technical boxing abilities. Joshua admitted that he was thinking about this challenge throughout his fight with Alexander Usyk.
Of course, I was, speaking about before, I was in a dark place and I was going through some stuff, but I feel like I've been resurrected now, and I'm in the light again and I'm ready to fight. And he's been the king for a while, and he's been the king for a long time, in fact. But you know what? I feel like it's my time, and I'm a king slayer, and I've got to do that again.
Joshua has changed his approach and is now collaborating with Ben Davidson, a new trainer. As he gets ready to take on Daniel Dubois, This alliance has given him a new lease on life and a revitalized drive for one last push on the international scene. Dubois, Joshua, who has a wealth of experience in high-profile fights, goes into the ring as the favorite. Rounds. Anthony Joshua is well aware that winning this fight will earn him a third world championship title and open the door for historic fights, such as a potential trilogy against Alexander Usyk or an incredible showdown against Tyson Fury at the Battle of Britain. Rage. Even though the IBF has officially acknowledged Daniel Dubois as the complete champion, many still view him as the world champion when he enters the ring. This fight, in the eyes of the supporters, is his real homecoming. Admirers, Dubois and Usyk. Usyk fought each other as well. Despite some debate throughout the fight, Dubois was finally defeated. At 8 years younger than his opponent, and with less fights under his belt, Dubois enters the ring with less experience than his challenger in a more competitive match. Gaining a victory here might start a new era for the heavyweight class and possibly change the course of British fighters' future. In addition to propelling him into superstardom, an AAV victory would solidify his standing among the top.
The first 2 rounds of Hrgovic, how many right-handers did he catch with? I mean, I was getting off watching how many right-handers he got caught with, and we've been talking about it. That's resilience. You know, I still think, I'm going to bang on about Usyk. He gave Usyk his toughest fight up until the fight with Tyson. That was a tough night for Usyk at the end of the day, and then unfortunately what happened, and I think that was more about the frustration of what was going on with the referee, but it's irrelevant. He's got over that.
At this crucial point in his career, Anthony Joshua enters the fight with the possibility of losing the belt. Heading. Chase for a considerable amount of time. If he doesn't succeed, one may even consider his retirement. After spending 2 years reviving his career and changing trainers, instructors, Joshua has one more chance to demonstrate that he is still the powerful force that brought the heavyweight class together between 2016 and 2019. In 2019, Daniel Dubois has yet to show off his mettle in a high-level competition. The fact that AAA lost this fight could identify him as one of the people who found it difficult to compete with the elite in the category. His career has already been hampered by defeats to Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk. AAA's defeat here at age 26 might make some question his drive and ability to continue in the sport. Athletics. Joshua and Dubois are boxers in different stages of their careers. Boxing. Journeys Dubois. Dubois, who recently won the title of world champion, is rejoicing in his newfound triumph. On September 21st, Joshua, a seasoned fighter with a colorful background, is resolved to make amends for his mistakes and gain back the top spot in boxing. Expect a bout in which the fighter's unwavering will to endure will ultimately matter more than their physical prowess or level of experience.
At the fight, I said Dubois would beat Hrgovic.
Yeah, we were sitting next to each other.
With all due respect, you don't underestimate anyone, but I know boxing very well. All this stuff that we talk about, I study Daniel, and I look at some of the things that he says, his characteristics, his boxing talent, you know, his upbringing and so on. All of it's irrelevant. Is he ready? Everything I tell you now is irrelevant. He will see September 21st.
Anthony Joshua will still be on course to win the heavyweight title 3 times if he can defeat a revived Daniel Dubois. At least one person believes that Adge is capable of gracefully transitioning to the next level, tastefully, in a spectacular all-British heavyweight duel for the IBF heavyweight title. 34-year-old Joshua will fight 26-year-old Dubois at Wembley Stadium in London. Heading. In the highly anticipated clash, Joshua hopes to reclaim one of the 3 titles he once held. Joshua faces Dubois, who was recently promoted from interim champion to full IBF title holder. Eddie Hearn, the chairman of Matchroom Boxing and Joshua's promoter, is expecting a tough fight for his fighter. Combatant. Hearn stated on Dayon that the fight is huge and that both fighters are at the peak of their careers right now. Dubois is a formidable foe, but Adge is looking incredible. And I think he defeats him elegantly after being denied the unified title by Alexander Usyk of Ukraine in September 2021. After being defeated in their first rematch, Joshua has gone on a 4-fight winning streak. Replay. Tension has simmered between Joshua and Dubois since the bout was announced, but 11 months later, Joshua has bounced back with strong victory over Jermaine Franklin Jor, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallen, and Francis Ngannou declared. Hearn is sure that his fighter will be motivated by this friction to win decisively once more. Extra. Hearn stated that although Joshua is always driven, there is an extra bounce to his stride and a stronger spine when that occurs. This is Edge's opportunity to win the World Heavyweight Championship 3 times on such an incredible evening. In contrast, Dubois is scheduled to compete in a World Championship for the second time after losing to Usyk in a 9-round knockout last August. The fight was for Usyk's 3 heavyweight championships. Since then, Dubois has defeated Gerald Miller and Filip Hrgović via TKO to recover from their losses. Hrgović will go on his second quest to win the world title, going up against Joshua Hearn, one of the best heavyweights in the sport. He was aware. He expects his fighter to provide an exceptional performance. Hearn continued. Both fighters are currently in the early stages of their careers, and their confidence is high. It should be an amazing boxing night. Both combatants, after losing to Usyk, who just knocked out Dubois and defeated Joshua twice via decision, both fighters are putting on impressive performances. Joshua has defeated Robert Helenius, Otto Wallen, and Francis Ngannou by stoppage, and Ngannou and Duo have successfully defeated Gerald Miller and Filip Hrgović, 2 opponents who had never lost before, by stoppage. Hrgović, one of the most recognizable fighters in the UK, Prince Nazim, is anticipated to make an appearance prior to the event, making the next card at Wembley Stadium likely to break attendance records for a boxing event featuring premier British talent. He told fans of professional boxing his predictions. Hamid stated, "To be honest, I think Edge wins by KO. Few people in the sport anticipate that this fight will go the full 12 rounds, requiring 45 knockouts to win." Promoter Frank Warren envisions a fight dominated by jabs, showcasing Dubois' excellent jab. However, Joshua's camp contends that Dubois can't afford to take shots like he did from Croatia's Hrgović when facing a potent puncher like their fight. Both heavyweights have lost by stoppage. The victor is keeping a close eye on Tyson Fury and Usyk's rematch in December in an effort to land an uncontested fight for the first half of 2025. After losing to the Ukrainian, Usyk was forced to give up the red and gold strap, which is how Triple D became a complete champion and went on to win several more battles. In advance of the historic fight, Saudi boxing executive Turki Alik has revealed that their request has been formally authorized. Joshua versus Dubois is shaping up to be an incredible spectacle. Anticipating 96,000 on Markerky, he shared on social media that the request to raise the show's capacity had been granted by the local authorities. Wembley Stadium's ability to hold a record boxing audience for the Joshua versus Dubois bout at the Riyadh season card Wembley edition has been extended, per our request. The sale of tickets will begin on Friday at 12:00 p.m. The expected attendance of 96,000, measured in UK time, would surpass the 94,000 that attended Tyson Fury versus David White back in April 2022. Mark Joshua will be competing in his 6th stadium fight in the United Kingdom. He has already won 2 fights at the legendary Wembley Stadium, where he triumphed over Vladimir Klitschko and Alexander Petkin. In addition, the former world champion has faced off twice at Cardiff's Principality Stadium and twice at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. His sole fight in a UK stadium took place on the undercard of Fury vs. Derek Chisora at Tottenham Stadium. Duke McKenzie predicts that Daniel Dubois will surprise Anthony Joshua by winning a significant upset game the following month. Having displayed impressive performances in their most recent matches, both fighters will be coming into the arena in excellent shape. Boxer McKenzie, who won championships in 3 different weight classes, thinks Dubois has what it takes to hold on to his crown. "I don't know if he's the bookie's favorite or the people's favorite, and I don't gamble, but if I had to select one fighter to win this specific fight right now, I'm leaning slightly toward Duo," McKenzie said. Looking at their last several fights, it appears that Edge has had it easier. Duo exudes a more effortless athleticism. He is less formal than Edge. He would have researched Age and be aware of his weaknesses. The two-time unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has bounced back from a challenging period in recent months. Although Joshua has always been physically strong, he seems to have found his confidence and composure again after 5 rounds of target practice against the composed O.T. Wallen and the strong but overmatched Francis Ngannou. Joshua was cool under pressure as he took 5 rounds to thoroughly destroy Wallen with icy precision. But when he defeated Ngannou in less than 2, he was relentless and angry. Daniel Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren, believes that despite this, his opponent, the freshly resolved IBF heavyweight champion, will present much bigger hazards. In New York in 2019, Joshua was notably knocked down 4 times by Andy Ruiz's lightning-fast hands. Meanwhile, Alexander Usyk's flawless timing and technique left Joshua reeling. According to Warren, Joshua will now face the strongest puncher he has faced since winning the heavyweight belts by coming off the mat to outpoint. More than 7 years ago, Vladimir Klitschko told Queensberry, "I do," and Joshua is also aware of it. It's nothing to worry about. He knows him, listened to him. He argued with him. There is a lot of discussion regarding what transpired during that sparring, and I've heard 2 different accounts of it. We signed him. I sponsored him in part because of the information I was receiving from those who witnessed the heated discussion around the events leading up to his June fight against Filip Hrgović. Du was forced to put up with the Croatian jeers, which recapped their past fights in an effort to bring up old grudges, but the hero's approach backfired. Dubois seemed to be strengthened by the taunts rather than rattled. Dubois deflected a flurry of strong right blows and outmuscled Hernandez, who had been unbeaten previously, to force an 8th round triumph. If the rumors are accurate, Dubois appears to have the gift for telling great sparring stories this time around, but he's opted to say nothing and move on. Warren recognizes Dubois' reluctance to go back in time, but he believes their common history is where the roots of the unhappiness lie. Warren stated, "I know that was back then, but the way I see it, there was a 17-year-old kid in there with a foul who was like 24, 25, a gold medalist, and he punches harder with whatever he's got. He seems cognitively stronger now that he's grown up. He's a much stronger guy intellectually. I noticed that in Hrgović because he spoke a lot about what he had done to it. In reality, they didn't spar until 4 or 5 hard rounds, which was very difficult for them both." Warren stated that Hrgović got off to a great start in the fight, hitting Dubois with his right hands early on. Nevertheless, Dubois persisted, struck back, and was able to injure Hrgović. After demonstrating his will and skill, Warren remembered thinking at the conclusion of the 5th round that Dubois was almost going to stop him. When Anthony Joshua fights Daniel Dubois next month, Warren also pointed out that Dubois was viewed as the underdog not just in this fight, but in his earlier fights against Gerald Miller and Usyk. As the winner, Fabio Wardley is sure he will prevail. Though Dubois starts the fight as a significant underdog, he is in excellent shape. If Joshua prevails, he will become the heavyweight champion 3 times. One of the best fighters in the division, Wardley, thinks Joshua can triumph. Wardley stated that he thinks Age would prevail and probably stop his opponent. Although he didn't discount Daniel's skills, he admitted that Age's size, strength, and experience provided him an advantage, even though the time of the stoppage was unclear. Wardley noted that Age would do well there since he was used to high-stakes scenarios and because his talents were a little bit sharper.
I think AJ wins. I think AJ will stop him. When? Who knows? But I think he's big, he's strong, and not to say Daniel isn't at all. But I just think AJ's just slightly sharper. Again, been in the game a little bit longer, a bit more used to the big stage, the big events. So again, not to take away anything from Daniel, he's had some massive fights himself, but just that level of comfort of being sat in that kind of moment, I think AJ will rise to that.
Ahead of his impending fight, Anthony Joshua appears to be in incredible shape. To ensure he was ready for the fight, Joshua just posted a scary behind-the-scenes video of himself beating the pads in a field where respect is earned rather than given. Edge captioned the video, and his fans were astounded by the 2-time world champion's strength.
Left hook head, left hook body. Good. Body head. Good. And again. Good. Little recock of that right shoulder. That's it. And again. Good. And again. Good. 2 more. 1 more of them. Good.
Maxie Hughes believes Daniel Dubois may cause a big upset against Anthony Joshua on September 21st. With Joshua, Dubois is making significant progress. But Hughes, the former IBO champion, is sure he can prevail. I'm choosing to back Dubois despite the unpopular choice. Many interviews with other heavyweights that I've seen have talked about sparring with them both and how hard Dubois is remarked. Speaking to Seconds Out, Hughes said he will be confident since he is gaining experience and is coming off a strong victory against Filip Hrgović. Joshua will also undoubtedly be confident following his victory. I simply believe that Joshua can occasionally crumble to bits despite being crowned a complete champion at the time. Dubois is committed to making a significant impact and breaking through the UK heavyweight scene. The forthcoming bout was made possible by victory Alexander Usyk's decision to renounce the IBF championship following his victories over Dubois and Joshua. A necessary rematch agreement with Tyson Fury forced this decision, jeopardizing the belt in the process. After defeating Filip Hrgović, Dubois, who had been the interim champion, was elevated to the position of full champion. After going up against Dubois and Joshua in the ring, the highly regarded Joshua will be the target of his first defense as champion. Drawing on his personal experience, WC Bridgerweight World Champion Lawrence Okolie offered his thoughts on the impending fight. OK provides a clear insight on what could happen in this much-awaited clash. All of this truly depends on match. Okolie said it, recognizing the advantages of both combatants. He added, Dan, I have a lot of respect for him. We trained together, and from an objective standpoint, he's someone you can't underestimate. He's got serious power, grit, and determination. But if Adge can maintain one thing, consistency, using his long, straight punches effectively, he should come out on top. Okolie highlighted 2 significant moments in Dubois' career: his stoppage loss to Joe Joyce and his thrilling but erratic win over Kevin Lina. In the Lina bout, Dubois hit the canvas 3 times in the first round before clawing his way to victory. In contrast, the Joyce fight ended when Dubois took a knee after suffering a fractured eye socket. He said, we've seen it happen a few times. With Dan in the Joe Joyce fight and the Kevin Lina fight, there were moments where you could spot a weakness in his armor. Despite all his strength and power, if you stay consistent, I think you can get the job done. And Adge, out of all the heavyweights, is known for his consistency. That's why I'm leaning towards him. Daniel Dubois described himself as the King Slayer and promised to train like a beast for his world title defense against Anthony Joshua. My goal is to be the greatest. For a long time, Adge has been the king, but that night, he said at 34, I need to be the King Slayer. When the 2 Londoners squared off during a news conference at Wembley's OIO Stadium on Wednesday, Joshua reacted with his customary coolness. Dubois has been on my mind for some time now, and he will be for the next 12 weeks. In an attempt to become a 3-time world champion, Joshua stated that although Dubois might be acknowledged as a world champion in the annals of history, his genuine ambition was to take the title in the ring by stopping Filip Hrgović for the interim championship on June 1st. However, a victory over Joshua will establish the Londoner as a household name in the boxing world. I'm prepared to let my fists do the talking, he declared. I'm 100% ready to go focused and to train like a beast. Joshua has won 4 times in a row since 2022 when he was defeated by Usyk, the London 2012 Olympic gold medalist. Though 8 years senior to his rival, brushed off any notion that age would influence the result. He said, I feel fresh, but I don't drink, I don't smoke. That's my only advice. Thank God I don't get into antics outside of boxing. Joshua stated that Dubois has always been on his radar, even though fights against Fury and Deontay Wilder have not yet been confirmed. He said, I know the game. We're in the wild. We're a pack of lions. I can't just focus on them. I've got to keep my eyes peeled. The giants of British boxing assembled on stage with former rivals Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn standing alongside fellow promoters Ben Shalom of Boxer and Cal Sauerland of Werman. This is probably the most stacked card in British boxing history. Queensberry's Warren said, while Matchrooms Hearn described it as the biggest night the sport has ever seen in the country. After Joshua and Dubois' consecutive victories in Saudi Arabia, The two will square off on home soil. The card continues to receive financial backing from the energy-abundant kingdom thanks to Turkey. Alike, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, who is widely recognized as the driving force behind its realization, Saudi Arabia has poured significant resources into establishing itself as a major hub for high-profile boxing events. However, critics contend that this effort is a strategic move to divert attention from the country's troubling human rights issues. The news conference has been planned for several weeks. Reporters just got official word of it at 19:20 BST on Tuesday due to the card, Joshua's attraction, and the fact that it was an all-British heavyweight world title bout. A large crowd attended despite the short notice. Former world champion Liam Smith, an undercard fighter, shared that he had long dreamed of stepping into the ring on an Edge card at Wembley Stadium, while middleweight Hamza Sheeraz expressed that it was an honor to be part of the event. It was a polite encounter just as anticipated. Dubois, known for his reserved nature, isn't one for trash talking, though there were rumors of a verbal spat between the two heavyweights during the filming prior to the press conference. The LED and ring performances speak for themselves at the top table. Dubois has stopped with 20 opponents and 21 triumphs, while Joshua has 25 knockouts and 28 wins. Do not blink. Promoter Frank Warren advised fans that it was a polite encounter as anticipated. Dubois, known for his reserved nature, isn't one for trash talking, though there were rumors of a verbal spat between the two heavyweights during the filming prior to the press conference. Joshua is aware that defeating Dub will position him to face the winner of Usyk Fury and realize his unwavering desire, but he is accustomed to being the center of attention and is not surprised by the pressure. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen.